Hello viewers, wherever you're watching us from, welcome to another edition of your weekly State of Affairs program here on QTV. I'm your host, Aliou Cisse, with my co-host, Sidi Cisse. Sidi, good to have you in the program once again.
Thank you very much, Aliou.
Well, viewers, tonight we are joined in the studio by the leader of the Gambia Democratic Congress, Honorable Mama Kandeh, a former National Assembly member for Jamara constituency under the then ruling APRC party. Kandeh contested in the last election in 2016, where his party pulled 17% of the total number of votes in that election. Honorable Kandeh, good to have you on the State of Affairs program.
Thank you for that kind invitation extended to me for this important program.
Well, in 2016, you felt out with your then party, the APRC, and then in the summer of 2016, you formed your own party, the GDC, which was the new kid on the block. And then we went to election, and there was that change of government at the time. Even though you didn't take part in the coalition, you weren't part of the coalition at the time. Since then to now, how do you assess the current state of affairs of the country after that huge change in 2016?
Well, thank you very much. First, let me say I did not felt out with my former party in 2016. I was expelled from the party in 2013. And of course, as you rightly said, I formed the GDC party in 2016 and contested elections in the last presidential election, came out with 17%. Since then, the GDC continues the struggle. There was no time that we stay behind in terms of, pushing forward to gain more support. And with that, we have contested different elections, that is both the parliamentary election and the local government elections. And we have also achieved a lot during that process. Since then, we are in the process, not relaxing at all, doing our best to contribute our quota in the political arena and in the lives of the Gambian people.
As we speak, how do you assess the change, the current government?
Well, yes, there is a change in leadership. The phase of the leadership is changed, but the system and what Gambians expected in the change is not achieved up to now. When it comes to the issue of, I heard people talking about democracy. At the GDC level, we still have issues to put before everyone, including the administration, that our people, that is GDC supporters, were arrested and taken to court for being part of celebration when we won the seat in Julangel ward, where I hail from, included the president. During that celebration, our people were arrested for being there, most of them alcalos, and other ordinary citizens of Jimara, and we are taken to court. In that case, we don't call it a democracy, because it have never happened, not during the time of Jawara, nor did it happen during the time of Jammeh.
Do you think there's a campaign against the GDC then?
Well, that's what I can call it, because it have never happened, and these people were just ordinary people from Jimara who had the feeling and gave their support to GDC candidate. I believe that is normal in every elections. There are people contesting the elections, and of course one must be the winner. And if you become the winner, you will obviously be happy, and take it upon yourself to celebrate because of the joy that you have and people that have supported you together.
Just to go into your last response, saying the government. Have your party or you, your leadership, made any formal complaint since this incident happened?
Yes, we did. I was in constant touch with the Minister of Interior then, Ibrahim Ambalo, that this is not normal and it's not supposed to happen. He was kind of assuring me that nothing is going to happen. These people will go home. But unfortunately, it never happened. We were dragged to the court for almost 3 months or more until we win all the cases. So obviously, we were in constant touch with the...
Being in contact and making a formal complaint, writing to the relevant authorities.
We never wrote.
So you basically did not have made a formal complaint?
No.
Okay. No. You were just using your rapport with the Interior Minister?
Exactly.
So looking at this, perhaps one will have said, okay, perhaps there's no level playing field then. Do you have the same view?
Yes, there is no level playing field. For us, there is no level playing field. There are times that we were denied even permits to hold our political rallies. We insisted, and it was, forward, back all the time. But we will finally get our permits. But it should not be like that. We should not be denied any time for, wanting to hold a political rally as Gambians, and we have a registered political party, legally registered political party.
Honorable Kandeh, when it comes to the issue of political parties, it's not the government. That's the discretion of the police. Are you actually saying the police refuse you a permit, or are you saying the government here? Well,
the police are under the government. The police are under the government, so it's a system.
But one would say the police are operationally independent.
It's a system. The current system have criticized Jammeh's government many times, for them being denied permits. We have all seen that here.
So are you saying President Barrow?
They were not kind of criticizing the police and leaving the government behind, but it was put together as a system.
Are you saying that President Barrow is interfering in the work of the police? Or his government is interfering?
I cannot say President Barrow per se, but I'm talking about the government.
Okay.
Yes.
But do you have any evidence to back this up? Because
of course,
independent, the police, as far as they're concerned, their operations should be independent.
Of course, we have a lot of evidence.
Can you help us with one here?
Right now, I don't have it here.
Okay, but there are evidence that you have that somebody in government or government is interfering in the work of the police.
Somebody. No, I'm saying the police deny us permit.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the government. That has nothing to do with President
Barrow. The police is under what?
It's supposed to be an independent institution.
It's supposed to be.
Yes. Are you saying they are not independent?
Why don't they have the Minister of Interior who is attending cabinet meetings and representing the police at that level?
Operationally, Honorable Kandeh, the police have to be independent. Are you now questioning the independence of the Gambia Police Force?
I am not questioning the independence of the entire Gambia Police Force. What I'm saying is, we were denied permit. Maybe if you, Mr. Cisse, were there as a police officer, you will not deny me. So I cannot blend the entire.
But what was the reasons they advanced? What were the reasons they advanced? They cannot just say we deny you a permit. They must advance reasons why they deny you a permit. Because from onward, you were given some permit in other instance. So yes. What was the reason that was advanced?
They give a lot of reasons, and I don't think if I would be in a position to tell you the reasons here, because we noted everything. We have it in our documents. But all I know is we were denied permit, and in one of my rallies, I make a warning that nobody in this country can deny us permits or deny us having our political activities in this country, as long as we are not doing it illegally.
Let me just wrap this up here, and Ali will comment.
Yes.
How many times have you applied for a permit, and how many times have you been denied? I think that would actually help.
2-3 times.
Okay. 2-3 times you've been denied a permit.
Yes.
How many times you've been given a permit?
Many times.
Okay.
After even when they denied me, we insist.
Okay.
We insist that we should be given permits.
And they will give you a permit?
Of course, finally they will.
Okay, I think that's concluded. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, at the beginning you state there's just that change of face, but there's nothing like system change as many Gambians had expected before 2016. Now we're in 2021, a very crucial year for the country, election year. I mean, Are there any chances of GDC making it this time around? In 2016, you pulled 17. But before you get to that question, just if you can just give us your view of the just concluded voter registration. How do you view it?
Well, thank you. The just concluded voter registration, I was expecting more Gambians to be registered because there were so many areas that the numbers dropped drastically, you know, that different from what they've got in 2010 registration. We expect them to be on the increase side of it, not to drop. And some time ago, I've given examples. In Nemakunku, for example, the numbers have dropped. And also, there were a lot of issues during the entire process of their machines than printing 150 voters card. After the machine is very hot, it cannot continue. You know, a lot of issues, a lot of problems. So I thought the company that was contracted this registration should have taken it upon themselves and take this very seriously, that this is not a joke. This is a national matter.
But overall, was it a fair or unfair system?
Well, I cannot say it was a fair system when every Gambian is not registered, and I believe from the first week of the registration, we even make a press release asking the IEC if they can think of extending, you know, the period that they have given for this registration. Because we thought from the beginning that it was not going to be enough.
Have you come across
after when you register only 100 people or 150 people for the whole day, or sometimes even less than that?
Since the registration have closed, have you come across Gambians who came to you to say, unfortunately, I was unable to get my voters card?
A lot. That's why we were asking.
And they were in the country?
Yeah, of course.
For the whole 1 month?
Yes.
Whose fault is that?
Sometimes they are even discouraged, because if you will go to, for example, we have it in Ibo Town. You know, you will go and join the queue for the whole day. They will end up telling you that our machine is not working anymore. And you go home, the next day you come, you kind of get discouraged. You know, finally you will not come to register. Because if you will stand there the whole day, and they have a limitation of how long they will stay in a particular period, in a particular area.
Okay.
So obviously, some will sit home, and because they are discouraged, they cannot come and join the queue for 2-3 days without getting a voter's card.
So are these things not a practical problem, not actually the problem of the, you know, when you talk about the fairness of an election? And these are practical problems. Yeah,
but these are issues that they knew very well years back that they were going to have a new voter registration. And they should have prepared better to make sure that they bring us a better machine that will suit the purpose of why they are there.
But are you going to challenge this at the court?
No, I don't. I would not. I don't have the time. So even the excuse that they are giving, if you suspect or detect anybody who is giving a voter's card, how many people can you take to the court? How many people have they just detected that almost over 3,000 people have registered multiple times? You know, this, if at all you want to take all these people to the court, how long is that going to take you? And who is going to pay for that?
Honorable Kandeh, somebody sitting in Booth would say, do you really have the stomach to go to State House? Because you are telling you don't have the time. If you really stand for,
I will not have the time. How much time do we have? And who is going to foot that bill? For me, it's not an excuse. Every Gambian should be given a voter's card.
So you agree if I, for example, sat at home for the whole 1 month, I did not get my voter's card, that's not an excuse?
What 1 month? If you are able to go to the center for 2-3 times, and at the end of the day you are asked to go home that the machine is not functioning anymore, what would you do?
But we have seen reportage of the last week where, you know, registration centers were virtually empty with people not coming to get their voter's card.
Well, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Me personally, I haven't seen that. But I wish it happened and that everybody is registered, because that's why they are there. And without the people registered, I mean, what will be the essence of us having political parties or even going out for election?
Finally, do you have any figures of numbers of people who actually have not got their voter's card because they've been disadvantaged?
No, I don't have that figure.
Okay, so this may be speculative. It might not actually be.
It's not only speculation. I have met them myself. It's not about speculating. I am telling you facts. I don't sit here and speculate. I'm telling you facts. There are people in this country who have never traveled and are not registered.
And talking about
maybe their choice.
Talking about people who have never traveled, diaspora voting was something that many people had anticipated ahead of this election. Now it's not happening. Are you in any way disappointed as a politician?
Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Very disappointed, because I think it was agreed that Gambians in the diaspora will be availed the opportunity to vote. Until the last minute, the whole game changed. So I understand that there were attempts in the courts, you know, something that is already in our constitution, it becomes a law. It is a law. Why denying them that right? I'm disappointed.
Well, according to many, the upcoming election is one that no single party can win single-handedly. Are there any possibilities of GDC forming a coalition with any party this time?
Yeah, the possibilities are high, and GDC is in discussion with other political parties already. I'm sure.
We want to get this out.
No, it's interesting.
All right.
No, it's interesting. Which are these parties?
No, I don't want to give names now.
APRC?
I don't want to give names.
Transparency,
Transparency will come the day we announce that these political parties have agreed to form an alliance.
Honorable Kandeh,
should we expect
we had in the grapevine that your party is in serious talk with DOI. Yeah. Is that factual?
Well, I am not giving you any name.
but how about GDC NPP? You and Barrow, you come from the same constituency, which is Jimara.
I have no problem. The NPP have never approached me for any possible alliance.
But DOI?
APRC?
I don't know.
But Honorable,
I think there are already a lot of issues with APRC, left, right, and center. So we wait to see.
But will you be contesting, Honorable?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
We need to go back to this on this subject. I said to you earlier, in the grapevine, your party is in serious talk with DOI.
Okay.
And you are running away from it.
No, what I'm telling you is the simple reason why you don't know is because we are discussing.
But you are in discussion.
We are in discussion, not with DOI or CA
but you are in discussion
or any
with
other
political parties.
We are in discussion with other political parties. And of course, whenever we are ready, we will come out to tell you that we have agreed. And these are the 3 or 4 or 5 political parties that have come together to form an alliance.
You are in discussion with parties including DOI.
Well, I don't know. You know, I don't.
Will you be contesting as a president?
Inshallah. Inshallah, God willing.
As GDC leader in 2021?
Well, as a leader in 2021.
Okay, there's a coalition talk then.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not denying you that we are not we are discussion. There is a discussion going on, which we did not conclude yet, but we're looking forward to it maybe before the end of the month.
Let's now look at the state of leadership at the Gambia Democratic Congress. We have seen there has been so much defection. You know, some of your National Assembly members were expelled by a party and now they are with NPP. I mean, 2 candidates, 2 of them are now with NPP. How do you react to the current state of your party? It seems there's crisis there.
Well, I don't see that there is crisis in the GDC. I mean, people have their rights to support any particular political party in this country. And being a member of the GDC or supporting GDC doesn't mean that your hands and legs are tied just to remain in that party. If you feel it or deem it necessary to kind of support any other political party, you have all the rights to do so. If you look at the GDC, I can tell you 100% of GDC supporters are all coming from different political parties. So who are we to say that nobody will move from the GDC to any other political party? It's happening every day, but we are also getting people from different political parties every day coming to join the GDC, in fact, in big numbers. So, I mean, for me, I think that is normal.
But if you cannot keep your own members, having National Assembly members leaving the party, certainly tells us there's something fundamentally wrong within the party.
Well, there is nothing wrong within the party. And I don't think it is to our powers to make sure that whoever wants to leave the party, we deny you the right from leaving the party. All I can tell you is none of them have any good reason for leaving the GDC.
But we have one of them in the case of Keba Jallo, National Assembly member for Jara Central, who described it as a dictator, that everything is around you as far as the GDC is concerned. You don't take advice from anybody. How do you respond?
Well, I don't think if I am a dictator. Also, he have no reason and no evidence that I am a dictator. The GDC executive is even more powerful than I am. And Keba himself, how many times is he attending our executive meetings as a member of parliament, who should be an automatic member of the executive? So, I mean, it's countable since he became a member of parliament. There is no time that I have made a decision on my own in the party that I can say is final. The executive always have the last say in that party, not Mama Kandeh. Whatever I got, I put it before them. And I even hardly attend executive meetings. So they decide on anything that we do in that party. Because remember, I'm just one individual.
And to be fair with you, this has been corroborated by your spokesperson, Honorable Umar Sise, when Honorable Jallo made that claim. Yeah.
So, I mean, I am just one individual. I alone cannot make a party. So the supporters of the party, that matters most, are the ones that have the powers, not Mama Kandeh as an individual.
Let me just, after this incident, he warned Keba Jallo, he said, come 2021 election, Mama Kandeh is going to see fire. He is not going to make any progress in the election, and the result of the election will prove and confirm what I am saying. He is everything in the party.
Yes, maybe he is taking.
Will you see fire?
He is taking the position of Allah. Perhaps he is taking the position of Allah. The GDC is gaining momentum every day. It's gaining big numbers every day, and I have no doubt that he, if that is the case, will be disappointed, inshallah, by the help of the Almighty Allah.
Honorable Kandeh, we're talking about defection, people leaving the party. Let's just look at Nyamena West, for example. What happened there? Can you help us? In your judgment or understanding, you lost that seat to NPP. You had what I would call a mismarriage with United Democratic Party. Some say that probably led to the failure of you securing that seat, GDC. What will you attribute to the loss of that seat to NCP?
Well, I think I don't want to put any blame of the UDP coming to give us a support. I only have to commend them and thank them for coming on board and giving us their support. They are Gambians like us, and we need everybody's support to help us with a seat, or whichever seat I can say. So, that is out. And let me also make this very clear. There was not a single time that the UDP have ever approached me for the possible form of a coalition or an alliance between these two parties.
In Nyamena West?
No.
We're talking about Nyamena West.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what actually happened? Were they gate crashes?
No, let me help you here. I am trying to clarify something that the GDC UDP have been accused of, that we are talking or we are forming an alliance or we have come together, because that was a campaign tool.
We are talking about Nyamena West.
This is what I'm saying.
Yes.
And I told you that I will not blame UDP for anything because GDC have lost the elections there because of UDP. It is not UDP.
Yeah.
And the UDP does not.
We aren't blaming UDP here. But you just make a statement, right, saying there were no talks between you and UDP. If I and Aliu are neighbors, I never invited him in my house and happened to be in my house at my ceremony.
They offered to support us.
They offered to support you. So there was a talk.
Exactly.
There was a talk.
They offered to support us in the by-elections in Nyabina. That they were not going to put up a candidate. And we have lost our member of parliament, not by being fired or have resigned, but
well, Honorable, let's just move on. I don't think the issue of the UDP is quite very significant in this whole issue. How did you lose that election? Why?
That's the issue.
Exactly, because he mentioned of the UDP. Well, since I think a week after the demise of Honorable Dembaso, the NPP or Barrow's people, including NRP, started their campaign in Nyabina, whilst everybody was seated, and we thought at the party level we cannot say or do anything politically in that constituency in the name of politics, while Demba is not yet 40 days on the ground.
Why were you seated? Why?
So why? Because we lost our own member of parliament.
Okay.
I think it will not look
so
good.
When you lost, when you lost,
good
when
if
you lost
we
your
just
member
jumped in there and want to start campaigning or politicking, how would they even see us? We don't have sympathy for that family.
Did you cease all political activity as a GDC party? Not only in Nyamina West, but did you cease all political activities? Because life goes on. If I drop dead today, doesn't mean QTV is going to stop state of affairs.
Yeah, but only in Nyamina.
Okay.
Only in Nyamina.
But you were doing other things.
Yes.
So you did not campaign enough. That's why you lost.
I did not campaign at the beginning in Nyabina. We waited until after the 40 days. That was the time we started coming out to talk to the people of Nyabina. And don't forget that the monies spent in Nyabina by the government of the NPP and his people, those are millions.
I was coming to that. How did NPP manage to win the election then?
Yes. They bought the
if you go back to the records, you will see GDC's Yoro Jallo, your candidate, got 805 votes. NPP Buram Sow, 1,718 votes.
Yes.
So how was NPP able to win that election in a constituency where it is seen as GDC's stronghold?
Yeah, GDC's stronghold, but we don't own the people. It was a GDC stronghold. We won the elections there in presidential election, both presidential and parliamentary election. But remember, GDC, before coming to being, there was an NRP stronghold. So you can see the difference of what the NPP get there and what the NRP used to get there. Put this together, you can see
you attribute it to money. Just recently, you just said millions have been invested by NPP.
Exactly.
Honorable Kandeh, you've done a lot of work in Nyamina West. Let's count how many boreholes, how many milling machines.
No.
You've not?
No.
You've not done a lot of work in terms of supporting the community?
I did not do a lot of work in Nyamina.
But even after the election, you gave a milling machine to one of the
communities. Because I promised that I was going to give a support on one or two things, which I tried to fulfill my promise, whether win the elections or not, and I did that.
I mean, can we conclude here that you've lost the lobster sign? You've lost the sign that you had, like Aliu earlier said, the golden boy in the block. Yeah.
But of course we lost the seat in Nyamina. That is not a question. I mean, everybody has seen that.
Is this reflecting that Mama Kandeh is losing the support?
If they will go back there now, they will see a different picture. Because all the promises that they made there, nothing happens, and everybody is mad at them. They now realize that they are just fooling them. A lot of promises were made. I mean, measurements were taken. We want to build this road. We will give you boreholes. We will give you that and that. Nothing happens up to now. But at least what we have promised the people of Nyabina at the party level, GDC, we have fulfilled our promises.
Well, Honorable, we will just go with a short commercial break, and when we return, the discussion will continue. Well, viewers, you reminded that you're watching State of Affairs program here on QTV. I'm your host, Aliu Sise, with my co-host, Sidi Sise, and our guest tonight is Honorable Mama Kandeh, leader of the GDC party. We will go for a short commercial break, and when we return, the discussion continues. Hello viewers, welcome back from that short break. You reminded that you're watching State of Affairs here on QTV. I'm your host, Aliu Sise. Our guest tonight is Honorable Mama Kandeh, leader of the GDC party. Honorable, let's now move to your policies and programs as far as the different sectors is concerned. Quite relevant for Gambians to know what are your policies and programs looking at the different sectors, your priority areas, agriculture, whatsoever. What are your priority areas as far as your campaign to become the president is concerned?
Well, thank you very much once again. I believe the priority areas that every Gambian, not only Mama Kandeh, should look at is, first, how do we feed ourselves? That comes to agriculture, And of course, what can we do to reunite Gambians in the absence of unity? I don't think if we will be able to achieve our goals. It's a priority. Then we will talk about health issues and security and education. But first, the agricultural aspect of it, it's very important, and we at the GDC believe that we should try and modernize the agricultural system in this country. We have been working very hard to try to find of how to solve the problems of food security, because without food security in any country, then you will not be able to manage the affairs of that country. If you just look at, let me just remind you of the Mobutu agreement that in every country, at least they should be able to give 10% of their national budget to agriculture. Of my view, I mean, even at that level, we do not need to kind of meet as head of states to anywhere and discuss of how much you can do budget-wise to feed your people. As a president, as a leader, you should be able to know what to do to feed your people.
Talking about the Mobutu agreement, as we speak, how much is the government giving?
Well, for the current government, to the last budget I saw is like 2.7%, which is very poor, which is very bad. And I don't think that will solve the problem of our agricultural system in this country. And I believe we need to empower our farmers. There are examples in the open that everybody can read. Nobody needs to tell you what is happening in the agricultural sector. As farmers, as kids from farming families. There are one or two examples I would want to give. That is, the poor farmer out there with a horse or a small donkey, compared to somebody who is able to get a tractor, you know, their earnings may not be the same. So meaning the poor is always poor. So what is the government going to do to eradicate that kind of system? We have to do everything possible to empower farmers. We have the land, we have the water, we have the river, we have all the God-given natural resources that we have to make sure we are self-food sufficiency. Unfortunately, it's not happening from independence to date. We are still in the struggle, too much importation of rice, and we have all the means. So the GDC is ready to come up with a modernized system to empower our farmers, so that we will be self-food sufficient.
Well, we are in a pandemic era. I mean, the economy is affected worldwide. How will you spur growth to ensure that you are able to implement this policy or programs on agriculture? Well,
the entire world is affected. You see, here we have to cut our coat according to our size. Let us make best use of what we've got and try to cut cost. If at all we've got any support from outside, well and good. But we should not depend only on support from outside. The little that we have, we should make best use of it, try to do away with the unnecessary spendings that we are doing every day. I mean, to have to swallow that bitterness to make sure that tomorrow's leaders, whenever they come, they will find something that we leave there as a legacy for them.
Cut cost, how? How will you cut cost?
Well, the unnecessary travels, for example, the unnecessary travels that we see, the unnecessary movements of government.
What do you consider unnecessary? Can you be specific? What do you consider unnecessary?
Because let me just give you an example of this new administration. I mean, since they came into power, I think you will bear me witness. There was a time even they have to be banned or they have to be stopped from traveling because they were like every day in the air and bring almost nothing, because we haven't seen any change and what effect does it bring for us as Gambians?
Yeah, but what you just said,
when even the president was asked
what you just said means the government is doing something about it. You are calling those travels wastage, and the government came in with a statement and said, we are not accepting XYZ as far as travel is concerned. So they're doing something about it.
The same government, the same government,
yes,
who were traveling left, right, and center and have bring almost nothing, those were directed from somewhere. We know all that. I don't want to mention.
No. We need to know. What we had was the government.
That was what we had was the government. Who were traveling? The government. It is the government that was traveling. That was the time Barrow said people think that $4 million is nothing, is money, but that is nothing. And then the next minute he hired a jet to attend the United Nations summit.
So the
number of delegations that this president is taking along with him all the time. These are all things that can be part of.
Honorable, when you talk about that came from somewhere, are you saying the government we have, their arms were twisted to stop certain things?
They were twisted.
Who twisted?
They were twisted. Some of their donors.
Someone like who?
I don't want to mention.
No, but when you come here as a presidential candidate, as a leader of a political party, and you don't want to tell us names, then you may not talk about it in the first place.
No, but I talk about what is happening in my country.
No, these are policy. These are policy directives.
These are people that twist their arm who are not in this country.
Okay. Now, Honorable,
and these are some of our donors. Okay. Obviously, they have seen it as a wastage, and have tried to twist their hands.
Okay,
and that was the time there was this memo for trying to stop them from traveling.
Okay, aside from
we have seen all that here.
Aside from that, what else are you going to cut? Aside from the travels.
Apart from the travels, I mean, let's say if the president would want to go and lay a foundation stone, for example, how many vehicles are following him just to go and lay a simple foundation stone? That is a waste. The petrol, the food, all the logistics put together is a waste. Some of these things he don't need to come out.
Okay.
There is a ministry responsible for every project. I think the minister alone, maybe with 2 other vehicles, is enough just to go and lay a foundation. We have seen
let's move on that.
Where the vice president, former vice president, went to lay a foundation stone. President Jammeh didn't go there.
Okay, Honorable, when you talk about these savings, how much are you likely going to save? You talk about cutting unnecessary travel, president going to lay a foundation so not to go. Okay, the amount of vehicle, how much money are you going to put together?
As long as it is happening very often, you are going to put a lot of money together. And this were not the only 2.
But how much? How much are you going to save? Because before you can come and say, I'm going to increase growth by this, because I'm going to cut this, I'm going to cut that.
No,
you should do your homework.
Increasing growth doesn't mean that it depends only on the cost that you are cutting.
But my colleague just said to you that with the pandemic and with the squeezing of the economy,
this is what I'm saying. Because the moment
you're going to cut.
At the moment I started responding to the question, I started with cutting cost. We have to cut cost, and that is not enough to achieve our goals in terms of these projects we are talking about. This is just a small part of it.
Yes.
But I'm telling you that there is unnecessary cost that is happening, and we have to control also the procurement system. We know what is happening. I can bring you documents, I can bring you proofs. Even the tractors that they bought some time ago, the money that was spent to buy those tractors, I even tried to call the company, but they refused.
Let's simplify this, Honorable Kandeh. I think it would not be fair to our viewers and our listeners for you not to tell us how much money you're going to save. That telling me you've not done your homework.
I cannot tell you how much money I am going to save.
You may not save anything.
I may save, because I don't know how much they are going to spend in just going to lay a foundation stone. All I know is what I'm seeing outside. But how much money that they are going to spend to lay that foundation stone, I don't know. I cannot tell you. Right? I cannot tell you how much money that they are spending on travel alone. But the president have made it very clear that $4 million is nothing.
Okay. Honorable Kandeh, you've just,
now,
just
the
put
cost
out
and what else? Cindy, I want to know.
Okay.
After the cuts, what else?
Yes, after the cuts, I mean, the tax system that we have in place, we can have more tax.
If I add onto that, Aliu, in their pledge.
Allow him to land. Finish
He's talking about a reform, tax reform. You said tax administrative reform at a national level. Yes. I think that's what you want to talk about. Can you go in detail in that?
Yes, because you see, we are proposing to have kind of a digitized and digitalization system, which we will be able to control whatever tax is collected in this country. And we believe we can collect more than what is collected as of now.
We got a digitalized taxation here at the moment. GRA is using that. The GAMNet, the GAMNet of GRA is digitalized. All payments are done through GAMNet, and they produce receipts. So are you saying that is not good enough? What system are you going to bring?
Well, I think we will do it better.
Okay.
I believe we will do it better.
How are you going to do it better when they have a GAMNet system that they are collecting taxes based on that system?
The GAMNet system that you are talking about, if you will go to Mankamankunda, for example, or to Sare Bojo, the tax that are collected there are not put within a system.
The local authority?
Of course.
Okay.
It's all tax. It's all tax.
So
that is not in the system.
How do you know this, Honorable?
How do I know?
Mankamankunda rate is not in the system.
Of course.
They are paying their
I am
rates.
from the same area. I'm from Sarabojo, and I'm somebody. I know the entire nation, what is happening in terms of this system of collecting tax. So this must be digitalized. This must be controlled.
As of now, how are they doing it? Say, for example, Sarabojo.
Sarabojo, they have their small books, receipts, which you cannot have control of. I mean, you can have your own receipt book. We have seen so many things happening there.
But have you ever seen a rate collector bring in a receipt book?
I have seen where rate collectors are fighting that you have got more than I.
In terms of what?
That they share the money.
Now, Honorable,
I have seen that.
Now, let's move on.
For example, I will give you. I have seen that. That they are fighting. So they hit each other seriously. I mean, because they were sharing the money, and the other one is claiming that why should you have more than I?
Honorable,
so it's happening.
Honorable. Most part of our economy is informal. We had someone who said if he wins, I mean, farmers are not going to pay tax. In your case, how will you help expand?
You cannot stop that. I mean, every Gambian should pay tax. Maybe if he feels that farmers are not or are paying tax, but they have nothing in return, maybe there is where you can maybe try to adjust to make sure that at least they realize the essence and the reason why they're paying tax. But you cannot say you exempt them from paying tax.
And now what will you do to expand that tax collection? Because as we understand, currently the GRA under the Commissioner General Yankuba Dabo has actually done well in increasing the tax collection. What will you do in your government to further expand that tax collection?
Yes, as I said earlier on, I mean, we will want to reach out to every corner in this country to make sure that tax are collected as expected, and I can commend Yankuba for a job well done. I mean, I have nothing against that, but I believe we need to do more.
How are you going to reach out? Will you be using the current institution, or are you going to have your own institution that will help you reach out?
Well, we can adjust the institution. We can adjust everything that we have in place to make sure.
Give us an example. Which one?
You mean the customs?
Yeah.
To adjust the system that is in place?
Yeah.
Yes, this is what I'm telling you. The people that are paying tax and is not captured within the digitalization system will have to. And we have to know what is collected from every corner in this country, from every village, from every lumo.
Okay.
You know, so this must be there.
But that's actually what
I'm not saying
right
the
now.
system they have is bad, but what I'm saying is we can do better.
So, Honorable Kandeh, just help me here. Say my grandmother at Sarabojo.
Sarabojo, yes.
Yeah? She is a farmer. She only farms for the rains and get whatever she gets from there. When you talk about expanding the tax, how you expect her to pay? What is she going to pay for? She's not even a landowner.
Your grandma, as of now, your grandma is paid, right?
What is she paying?
But you said if she is not exempted, you mean?
No, I'm saying right now, she's sitting there only doing the farming.
Okay. Yeah? Are they not paying right now? As we are
compound
speaking?
Rates?
Yes.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying.
What are you going to expand? When you say we're going to reach out to the length and the breadth of the country, how are you going to expand?
Those compound rates that are paid should be collected. And I'm telling you, I have seen people collecting and dividing and sharing the money. It's happening.
How long ago was this?
It's not long ago. It's happening. It's happening. I would wish you go around yourself as a journalist.
So are you attributing this to corruption? And if that's the case, how are you going to stop that?
Corruption is rampant in this country.
Really?
How rampant?
It is very rampant.
How?
You know, fighting corruption, one, is not an easy thing. But we have seen periods or times. Example is, for example, let's say the passport scandal, diplomatic passport scandal.
It is in the courts.
Whether it is in the courts or not, it's a corruption. It was a corruption.
Is that the worst you can think of?
No, I'm coming. We have seen where the Minister of Health will stand in front of the members of the National Assembly talking about ghost salaries, kind of. It's corruption. We have seen where the Minister of Fisheries have stood in front of the National Assembly members for many times and was engaged in trying to engage by the members of the National Assembly to find out if there is any agreement between the Gambia government
and
Senegal.
Honorable.
He denied this.
Honorable,
and finally, he have to accept that there was this agreement. What have stopped them from forwarding this agreement? What have stopped him from coming out plainly and openly to say to them that we have it? What have stopped him? We have seen where the ministry was burnt. How did it come? Was there any investigation? What is the outcome of that investigation? All the documents were burnt. Well, we haven't had any results yet.
Did your parliamentarian request the answers in the parliament for that investigation?
My member of parliament?
Yes.
I'm not aware.
No, I'm just asking whether he has done that.
Not yet.
If it is of that interest, do you think that would be the right
Do you think it should be the interest of my member of parliament alone?
Well, I will put you on the spot here. I mean, talking about the issue of the agreement between Gambia and Senegal, I remember the Minister of Fisheries appearing for the parliament and saying, according to what he understands, this was a continuation of a previous agreement that was signed between the Gambia and Senegal since the time of Jawara. As a former member of parliament, you were one of those most vibrant parliamentarians at the parliament back then. Do you think this agreement should have been brought back to the parliament for approval or not?
Even
whereas, according to the minister, it was signed.
That was signed since the time of Jawara. I'm not aware of that because I was not there at that time. All I know is he was engaged by the members of the National Assembly, questioning him if there is any agreement between the Gambia.
Okay, so Honorable, you talk about...
No, let me finish here.
Okay.
For multiple times, he denied it, until finally he have to admit that yes, there was this agreement. What have stopped him from accepting from the beginning that there was this agreement, and if there is supposed to be any form of extension, whatever, he should have tabled it before the members of the National Assembly and let it be discussed. If we all agree for it to continue, so be it. If we don't, then they would have dropped it down.
You talked about tax. You talked about cutting. Now let's go to the tax. How much are you going to add onto what today the GRA and the local authorities are collecting?
I cannot give you a figure that I am going to add on what the GRA is collecting as of now.
Okay.
I cannot give you that figure.
Okay. You talked about comprehensive civil service reform, both home and foreign service, a complete overhaul of the armed force and the security forces. How are you going to do this? These are just, wishful thinking, right? How are you going to do this? How are you going to achieve this?
Well, there must be a complete civil service sector reform.
How?
Yes. And of course, our embassies, we place our embassies where we feel it is important and it is of benefit to the Gambia and the Gambian people.
Let's start with the civil service. How are you going to reform that? What sort of reform are you going to do? Redundancy? Are you going to do early retirement? What are you going to do? Or are you going to increase the civil service? Because spectators are saying we have a big government.
We are not talking about redundancy because all those civil servants, they have maybe their families. I mean, we are going to scrutinize every part of it and to look into the history of what have happened in every sector, and to try and modify and to correct all the wrongdoings and to make sure that we have a better civil service sector.
Are you saying government has to be a nanny? We don't want to have a nanny state. You know, we cannot provide, it has to be rational. You cannot afford to employ everybody in the Gambia. If you have a government that is big, you must downsize. We are not going to employ everybody in the Gambia. But what I'm saying is, yes, there must be some changes. Yes, we have to make sure, because you see, we used to have a very good civil service sector in this country, where many countries outside this Gambia come to learn the system that we have.
On the Jawara or on the Jawara?
On the Jawara.
Okay.
On the Jawara. And the current system is really a mess.
What is the mess? Single out, what is the mess of the civil service right now that you going to change?
Well, the mess is, first, how much are they doing at their level of their work?
In efficiency?
In efficiency.
You are saying the present civil service is inefficient?
Not the entire civil service, but there are some that are not efficient.
How do you measure that?
Well, we will come to that.
Honorable, just Inshallah. A brief one.
We will come to that.
Okay. Honorable,
you see, it is a very difficult situation. But remember, we are in an election year. Some of these
So you don't want to hurt them going to election? Well, you've not singled out anything that you're going to do with the civil service. You say we're going to reform. What are you going to reform? You're not going to do redundance? You know, you're not going to send them home?
Yeah,
you're not going to do early retirement?
Some will go home.
Okay, so you'll do redundant.
Some will go home.
Okay.
Well, Honorable, let's
let's
just look at the issue of youth unemployment. Gambia is a youthful country. What will you do to reduce the rate of unemployment?
Well, that is a very serious one. In fact, I can tell you that Gambia is blessed with an opportunity of youth forming the majority, the younger generation forming the majority in this country, which is already an asset, or a very good asset for this country. Unfortunately, the young Gambians do not have that much skill, and we have to embark on skill training and to make sure government supports our young people to kind of open workshops nationwide for them after coming from training, because we are thinking of having a number of youths, taking them from here to abroad to give them the skills, the required skills to come home, open workshops for them, and to make sure that they train their colleagues that didn't have the opportunity to travel outside.
But as we speak, there are many programs ongoing relating to that. We have the Youth Empowerment Project.
Youth Empowerment Project. What have they
we have the Youth Enterprise Fund by the government trying to give, trying to give loans to young people who are.
Well, do you think loans are going to help? We have been taking loans throughout our lives, and it haven't changed our lives. For me, loans are not going to help. Instead, what we need to do is give them all the materials, the facilities, open the workshops for them, give them all the opportunities. Whatever government needs to buy, let them buy direct from those people. We make sure that the money remains here. And that alone, if you open the workshop, whatever is costing, for example, $100, you can buy it $80 from them. And then you are recovering the $20. That is your expenditure that you have spent on them. It's better than giving them a loan.
But it is normal anywhere in the world for entrepreneurs to go and take credit to start whatever business they're doing.
Yes, but here...
Are you saying on the economy you're going to give them for free?
Here it didn't work, and it's not working still. What I'm saying is, even if I don't give it to them for free, open a workshop.
So what do you think is the problem? Well, why it did not work? Why?
I don't know what the problem is, but all I can do is to come up with my own idea, and I think that would be the solution to the problems that we are facing in terms of youth employment. Right?
You don't have the solution right now.
I don't have the solution why there is the. I don't know what the problem is. But what I'm saying is, I have
6 months to election.
Well,
no. You are not getting the point. I don't know. I don't know why the credit or giving loan is not working.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is,
thank you so much, Honorable.
With an idea of how to resolve that problem without going back into what happened in the past.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
There's a lot to talk about, and I hope this would be the last time you'll be on State of Affairs program. We hope to have you in a subsequent edition so that we could discuss wider on some of these policies and programs you have as far as your 2021 manifesto is concerned. We hope to have you again in the studio. Well, viewers, with that, we come to the end of this episode of the State of Affairs program here on QTV. I was your host, Aliu Sise, with my co-host, Sidi Sise, and our guest tonight was Honorable Mama Kandeh, leader of the GDC party. Do join the rebroadcast on Sunday at 10 a.m. Until then, bye-bye.